Hello crafty friend, it's Justine. Today I'm going to be making a really pretty blue teal card with Bibi's Hummingbirds from her collection, Bibi's Hummingbirds from Spellbinders. Now I'm going to be making this with a few different dies from her collection. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check out the screen here. Here's a couple pictures of what she's got going on. And I'm going to be using the Hummingbird card creator to do this large hummingbird here. The delicate floral hummingbirds, which is going to be this kind of green background. I'm going to use it as a background anyway. And then I am also going to use the sentiment from her sentiment set that's called Hummingbird Sentiments. So kind of using three different things here. And then my background is actually going to be my embossing folder, and that is from one of the clubs. I believe that's from March. If I'm not correct, I will fix that in the description, and if it's available on the website, I will link it, but it might not be because it's one of the club items. So things tend to sell out, and that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles unless you're you're kind of on top of your game there and picking it up when it is available. But the main part of this card is really going to be this hummingbird from the Hummingbird card creator, and it is very large. It's perfect for actually making a card with just the hummingbird. So to do that, you're going to use your die cutting machine, and you're going to position the paper so it's kind of folded on either the wing or I guess it would be the wing here, and then that would be how it opens up, or you can just add it on to a card like I am today. Now I kind of stuck with the teals and blues to make this card because I kind of wanted everything to coordinate. And one of the best parts about this die is everything lines up with the etching that's on the back of the die, the main bird die. So the head kind of goes about there, and I'm just gonna perhaps I was a bit too chatty when I added the beak, but this is kind of the fun part for you. You're learning from my mistakes. I guess I would add the head first next time, or the top of the head first next time for making this, and then everything kind of nests in with this long beak of the hummingbird, like so. There we go. That looks much better. Now we have the face part, which is just a little bit of like some periwinkle kind of card stock. I used basically all scrap paper to make this one, so there's not specific names for everything this time. And then I have my little eyeball there, which I die cut out in a different color actually, and then I used my black marker to color it, so you can kind of see it's like barely blue on the back, but just to save myself a teeny bit of time die cutting, I just colored it, and there we have it. Now for the actual wings part, I am going to add these little flowers on each side. And I chose to use all gold flowers on this one just to keep it all kind of consistent. But if you wanted to make it kind of a brighter card, you could use all sorts of different colors, or you can do one of my favorite hacks, which is die cutting everything out in white cardstock and then coloring everything just how you want it with your alcohol markers or water-based markers. If you're into that, that's fine too. I just love using my reverse tweezers for things like this. It just really helps me get everything where I need to get it without making too many mistakes. But you know, if I do make a mistake, it's gonna be fine because this is just the real world of crafting here, you know. All right, now I'm ready to add on my background. I have this big teal piece right here, and I think it's so great that the embossing folders do come so large, because you can make projects for larger cards like 5x7 with them and not have to worry about them not being big enough, because this whole 5x7 piece here was even smaller than the actual die itself, which I thought was really neat and pretty helpful, because then you don't have to pick and choose what you're going to use on your project based on size. You can pick and choose what you're going to use on your project based on your own liking, which is just awesome. Next, I'm going to add on this piece. I did this one as kind of like a test piece for another project that I'm going to be doing, and it turned out really nicely. So because I liked the way it looked, I went ahead and kept this die, and I'm going to put it on the background of this project. Now, some of this, I used a low quality paper when die cutting this, so it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it for that project, because it's the white core paper. And if you're kind of part of the card and paper crafting world, you know that the white core sometimes can be a little bit tricky with die cutting. And some of that white core was showing. So because of that, it's going to be a background piece and not the main part of the card. But I did use this hummingbird, this die piece, on a card with the pop-up from the Hummingbird. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead, and it is linked, or it is on my channel already, so you can see it there. And then I am also going to do another card with this die showing the little hummingbirds and flowers that you can put on the front of this. And that video will be coming later this month on my channel. So make sure that you are so you can check that video out when it is ready. Now that that's on, I'll just give it a little light press. And if there's any areas that need just a teeny bit of extra glue, I'll just squeeze in the glue. This all dries clear because it's the Barely Art liquid glue in my tiny bottle here. We love Barely Art liquid glue. Okay, now for my hummingbird, I did want to pop up my sentiment, so I'm going to keep my bird on the card itself. And I'm going to angle it so it's all on the card and not hanging off. So I'm going to put the glue on first and then kind of wiggle it around, which is another benefit to liquid glue. It gives you a second to kind of wiggle before it dries into place, as opposed to double-sided tape that sometimes if you try to wiggle it after you put it down, you're getting ripped paper. So here we go again with those reverse tweezers. One of my essential tools, I tell ya. Okay, right about there is where I want my hummingbird, and I'll just press it down. Now that I have foam tape on the back of my sentiment, it is ready to go on my card. I did choose to use some blue oxide to stamp this one. I think that was Salty Ocean, if I remember correctly. And then I used some other cardstocks here just on the back to matte my sentiment, just to give it a little more of an oomph. And I recently have been kind of in a rut with black ink and stamping, so I just kind of went on a limb and tried something that I don't typically do. I mean, it's not groundbreaking to use a colored stamp or colored ink for a stamp, but I just was trying to get out of my comfort zone. I think I just said comfort zone on that one, and kind of branch out. Now on the little flowers, I'm going to use the tiniest gems that I'm pretty sure these are the tiniest gems Spellbinders has. They're part of the crystal mix. And did you see how tiny those are? They almost look like nail art. They're so cute. Anywho, I'm going to stick those on the middle flowers here, and then maybe some on the top up here. And I think I'm going to use the kind of holographic pinky greens just to kind of go with the greens that are already on this card. Greens and teals, I guess. It's really nice that these gems are self-adhesive because I don't have to worry about any glue kind of getting everywhere, and I just pop it on and it's a gem, you know? Okay, let's put on some other ones on the top here. I think I'll stick with the small ones on the flowers that match the ones that are by the sentiment, and maybe some larger ones for the other flowers. I guess we will see here what stuck to me. There we have it. I'm going to add even more bling by using my Wink of Stella pen just to give the hummingbird some glitter. This is very fine glitter. It's a glimmer pen. So I'm going to follow the feather parts of the wings and just kind of make swooping motions. And I'll probably also do it on the tail because why not? Oh, that is really pretty. Okay, I'm loving that so far. You know, I don't think I've ever put something on with, I don't think I've ever used the Wink of Stella pen and went, oh, I don't like the way it looks. I always like the way it looks just because it adds this beautiful shimmer. And this die is actually really easy to use because it has little etchings on the tail. So it looks like, you know, I took forever to add these perfect little swoops onto this bird tail, but really I just followed the etched lines. And why not? Let's add some on the belly just to kind of give the illusion of a fluffy little chest here. I think that is all I will do before my too much brain kind of kicks in and I go nuts. Okay, maybe a little bit on the sentiment, just on the teal part. And then I promise I will be done with the Stella pen. Okay, I am obsessed with Stella. I have a problem. Anyway, I really love the way that this one turned out. So if you did too, let me know in the comments. I hope I've inspired you to use this die, and if you do, I want to know what color is your hummingbird card going to be. Mine was blues and teals. Maybe yours is going to be pinks and purples, oranges and reds. I want to know what color you're going to use just because I'm curious. I want to use this die again and again, so maybe you could inspire me. Anywho, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you get to craft soon. Goodbye.